That animal did not survive. But perhaps it didn't die in vain, because scientists used that rare opportunity to perform a necropsy on the whale. That's the animal version of an autopsy. The goal? To find out more about this species and perhaps find clues as to why some die in such a mysterious way. And we'd like to warn you that the operation is somewhat gruesome.
On December 10th, the whales first sighted in the shallow water near Tignish, the northwestern tip of Prince Edward Island. It's rare to see a sperm whale even remotely close to shore. They're deep water mammals plunging to depths of more than 1,000 meters. To find one here seems very wrong. Rescuers do their best to turn the whale around toward open sea, but their efforts fail. The next day, when it's clear to scientists that the animal would not survive this stranding, experts from the Atlantic Veterinary College try to euthanize it, but its outer layer is too thick for the needle to penetrate. Nature is left to take its course. By Wednesday, the animal has died. Strandings of marine mammals are not uncommon on Prince Edward Island, but this was a sperm whale. Only a handful have died here in the last decade, so islanders make their way to this remote beach to pay their last respects. Soon the animal will be moved to the whale cemetery nearby, where the necropsy will take place. By Friday, the carcass is showing signs of deterioration. Scientists, students, and the simply curious are arriving by truckloads. The necropsy must begin as early as possible before decomposition destroys important clues as to why this animal died. The team is led by Dr. Pierre-Yves Daoud.
This is my first big whale.
Yeah?
I've never done anything bigger than a white-sided dolphin before.
And relatively speaking, it's fresh.
Yeah.
Upon first inspection, he says there's no obvious reason why this animal would strand itself.
1.2 meters.
We thought when it was alive that it was very thin. I'm not convinced of that just looking at the carcass by itself. Maybe by looking inside, that the amount of fat inside might give us a better idea. So that's the idea. We want to know what we want to try to explain why it died eventually.
There are representatives here from the Department of Fisheries and Oceans, the Veterinary College, and the Royal Ontario Museum, which is collecting the bones for a future exhibit of whale skeletons. First, the animal's measured. It's almost 13 meters long, estimated to weigh about 40 tons. It's an adult male, but its precise age is unknown. That'll be determined later when its teeth are examined in the laboratory. Sperm whales can live as long as 70 years.
Oh, it's slippery.
The necropsy is set to begin. Dr. Art Ortenberger from the Veterinary College inserts a probe in the top of the animal to determine the thickness of the blubber. The sound you hear is gas being released. It's a foreboding of what's to come. The carcass is very bloated. So prepare yourself for what happens next. Dr. Daoud makes an incision in the whale's belly.
The work is over. Now it's just a matter of digging in.
By now, most of the curious onlookers have fled. This is clearly no place for squeezing. In fact, at times it requires brute strength. The blubber is about 20 centimeters thick, tough to cut. It's also heavy. A backhoe will be on hand for the next 2 days to lift pieces away from the carcass. The head of the sperm whale takes up a third of its body. This animal has the largest brain in the animal kingdom, and weigh up to 9 kilograms. And the scientists are hoping to find it intact. As they begin their investigation, they are in awe of what lies beneath.
I've never seen that before. I don't know what it is about. Yeah. This is amazing. Oh, because all the tendons that they all seem to be individual, and so they must be all controlled individually almost. I don't know what the function of this is.
But they do recognize this oil that's oozing out of the animal. It's called spermaceti. That's how the sperm whale got its name. It's long been prized by whalers for its properties as a lubricant. In the whale, it's believed to play a role in the animal's buoyancy. The liquid is found in a part of the head called the tape, which acts as a kind of ballast tank for the animal. It's an ingenious feature unique dive deeply for their prey, the giant squid. As the daylight starts to fade, they realize that a prized part of the animal cannot be left unattended, the lower jaw.
We want to get the mandible out because the teeth of sperm whales are very easy to remove. And it makes for a nice piece of collection, and it would be very tempting for many people in the area to want to have their souvenirs, and yes, that would affect the quality of the skeleton.
Luckily, it's only the lower jaw that has teeth in the sperm whale. After great effort, it's removed and loaded onto a truck for safekeeping. The next morning, the team is working flat out. There's a storm coming, so they have to complete the necropsy by the end of the day. They're anxious to retrieve the heart and lungs, looking for disease or parasites that might have contributed to the animal's death.
We're almost there. We see the heart, we see the lungs there, but in order to peel everything out, we have to get those ribs out of the way.
The workers from the museum finally get what they came here for, the bones. They'll be taken back to Toronto, where the skeleton will be rebuilt. As the ribs are peeled away, the heart is revealed. It's massive, 4 chambers, an organ that can weigh as much as 120 kilograms. Its complexity impresses Dr. Daoud.
It's much more than a terrestrial mammal, and I have been told that the reason for this is that it cuts down on the turbulence, blood turbulence, so it allows for a better flow of blood from from one chamber of the heart into the other and then into the aorta. But it's very, very marked, all this pattern, all those recessions there. And we see quite a bit of fat on the surface of the heart. So again, it confirms that this animal was not debilitated, was not emaciated in poor body condition.
In fact, the team is finding that the animal is in good health just about everywhere. Even the lungs seem clear, free from disease such as pneumonia. But the investigation will continue. The Department of Fisheries and Oceans is collecting tissue samples that will be examined for parasites and pollutants that may be present in the tissue.
That's phylobacterium. It's a parasite that's found, it's a cell, a tapeworm that's found in the blubber layer. And this is the liver. It's in a pretty bad shape, but it's all right for whales.
But Dr. Daoud doubts the lab test will reveal signs of any serious illness.
I'm afraid that it will not help us very much. Still, the exercise is worthwhile. At the very least, we can say, well, there was nothing obvious. We didn't find any foreign material in the stomach. Sometimes some of those whales may ingest plastic, for example. We didn't see any of that. So we know the cause of death in the sense that this animal was stranded, and they are not. Of course, once they strand, they will die eventually. What we don't know and what we may never know is why it came so close to shore. Was it indeed that it was in poor body condition? Did it get disorientated, or was it sick for another reason? That's what we may never be able to answer.
The skeletal remains of the sperm whale are loaded onto a truck for transport to Toronto. What's left of the remains will be buried here. This is a whale cemetery, and there are markers on the graves of other marine animals that have died in recent years, usually by stranding. Still a mystery why these animals almost seem to choose to die this way. A mystery that this case of the sperm whale still has